Hello, I'm Tony Ko, the host of Talk It Global. Have you ever wondered why PostgreSQL, the open source relational database, is gaining even more popularity in today's AI era? The main reason is that by installing open source extensions like pgvector, you can easily store vector data and perform similarity searches within a traditional RDB. In short, it allows you to efficiently implement vector processing functions needed for AI applications without a dedicated vector database. In fact, even OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, uses PostgreSQL to store and process its vector data.
Even OpenAI uses the PostgreSQL version provided by Azure. The reason PostgreSQL has become so popular is that open source evolves much faster than proprietary systems. For example, compared to Oracle, PostgreSQL added vector support almost 3 years earlier. So when developers started building vector-based systems, they found that PG already supported it. And that's how its adoption exploded.
There are many dedicated vector databases out there. How would you describe the difference between those and using PostgreSQL for VectorDB functionality?
Dedicated vector databases handle only vectors, but in real enterprise use cases, you also need structured table data from traditional databases. In other words, you need hybrid queries that can combine both relational and vector data. If you separate RDB and VectorDB, it complicates development. But when an RDB, like PostgreSQL, supports vectors natively, developers can perform hybrid queries smoothly. And that's a huge advantage for integrating AI into business systems quickly.
So PostgreSQL had VectorDB capabilities as early as 3 years ago. That really shows the power of the open source community.
That's right. If you include all commercial vendors, there are about 2 million developers, but in the open source world, there are over 100 million developers. That's why the pace of innovation is so much faster. It's simply on another level.
This brings up an interesting question. In today's vibe coding era, where AI makes development easier, how does EDB PostgreSQL contribute to the rapid development of AI applications? And with powerful models like Claude or ChatGPT, could we eventually handle even the database layer through vibe coding?
Think of it like a swan gliding gracefully on the water. Beneath the surface, there's a lot of movement happening. Without vendors like us, customers would have to connect around 40 different services themselves to build something which would take enormous time and effort. Our role, from the database perspective, is to handle all that behind-the-scenes complexity for them.
So, in other words, you're saying you handle all those difficult, tedious tasks for both AI systems and human experts alike?
People often say, you can just talk to OpenAI. But in reality, when it comes to building an AI agent application, someone still has to do the back-end work, fetching files, reading data, setting up AI pipelines one by one. Those steps require automation and human intervention, and that's exactly what our solution simplifies. From a database developer's perspective, we provide tools that let you build those entire pipelines directly with SQL, integrating LLMs or combining data from object storage within SQL itself. In addition, we offer a UI tool that enables low-code development. With just a few clicks, users can import PDFs or PowerPoint files, extract data or images, chunk the content, vectorize it, and prepare it for AI use, all visually without writing complex code. So in essence, we provide a true no-code/low-code platform that allows users to easily build full AI-powered applications.
In the past, one of the biggest issues with low-code and no-code development was that it wasn't easy to connect with the back-end database when building a service.
And now it's even more challenging. Before, you might have only needed to connect to 3 systems, but now it's 40 or 50. So rather than becoming less important, the back-end role has actually become even more critical.
To enable rapid AI application development, EDB offers a platform called ESB Postgres AI Factory. In this session, we'll explore how much more effective it is compared to developing AI services on AWS, focusing on real enterprise case studies.
Why do Gen AI applications fail? And really it comes down to 3 reasons that we hear from customers. It's cost and scalability, and then fragmented systems, AI development skills and gaps, which we just heard about, and then data governance and concerns. And I think one of the first customers that we met with had gone to become, they wanted to be an AI first company, and so what they did is they went and bought a bunch of stuff off the shelf. They bought LangChain and 40 different services from AWS to go and build this application, and it was just a chatbot, like the hello world of doing Gen AI. And the problem is they put it into production and it worked really well. It worked really well. But it was $2 per 4 prompts with that chatbot. if you have 100 contact center employees leveraging that, and they're not prompting right, they're not trained right, they're just still not getting the answers, it starts to add up. And so what they've had to do is just scrap that project that they spent millions of dollars on, and now waiting for something else to come along that maybe they can put it into production later. And then you have the development skills, which was referenced earlier, and I think we're all facing that. Like, you know, when AWS says, yeah, we can help you build this, and nothing against AWS, they're a really great partner of ours, but they say, yeah, we can help you build this, but it's going to be, you know, 40 or more services. You need at least a handful of experts on each one of those services, and not to mention Postgres, but then like real-time analytics or SNS, and then being able to do Kafka, and so like these open source projects start to overwhelm the team that want to build it. And so it's something that, you know, shouldn't take long when you're using OpenAI and just sending data and consuming it. It actually turns into a project that can last, you know, 6 to 12 months, but it's just MVP. You can't actually roll it out because you're overrun by your budget. So, you know, what you're going to hear about in a little bit is the AI Factory, which enables you to take an existing project that got, you know, shelves and then be able to bring it into production. So we were able to help this customer to get this going in about a couple weeks. So the business impact is everybody becomes a Gen AI developer, right? And you're able to do it much faster. Instead of 5 lines of code, 135 lines of code for building up that AI pipelines.
Lastly, your likes and subscriptions greatly empower us to continue creating content. Thank you for your support.